Hi, my name is Luke Pongetti, and I'll be explaining the first part of the code. So in the first part of the code, we just define a ton of variables that we'll need later on throughout the code. That'll be all explained later. We also define this array, which will be used for the data table later on. And right here is everything that happens when the code starts up. So our selected dice array will be all false to start off. Our win labels will be off. All of our values will be off, or not off. They will all be set to zero, or they'll be set to nothing. Um, a ton of labels will come off. Player's turn will be started at zero. These labels will be on. These ones will be off, just to start off with the game. And these images will be defined. These are dice images, and this is the starting position of the dice. And the play type will default to zero, and the UI table will start off with the data that we put above. So this is going to be now when they press the roll dice button. So we have the system where when the button is pressed once, the button state will be one. When the button is pressed a second time, the button state will be two. And when it's pressed a third time, it'll be three. So when the button state is one, they will read, or the code will read a dice rolling audio. All the dice images will be set to on, their starting position will be defined. And for this first roll, the user doesn't have a chance to select their dice. So all the dice will be just random numbers 1 through 6. And these if else if statements show whether or show which dice picture needs to be shown. Like if they roll a one, the one's dice picture will be shown. If they roll a two, the two's dice picture will be shown. And that's the same thing for all 5 dice. Also, the roll one label will turn on, and these other two will be off just to let the user know which roll they are on. And this right here is for the animation we included. So when the dice roll, they start in one position, they all spread out on the board to their other positions. So right here, we just define all these arrays that they will follow, and this for loop runs the animation. Also, we have right here this array, this array and this if statement will pretty much tell if the user gets a Yahtzee, it's an automatic win. So it will turn the win label on and read the audio, our win audio. And pretty much the same thing for if they press the button a second time, everything turns on, the dice all reset to their starting position. But in this case, they have a chance to select the dice. So if they select the dice will stay the same. But if they don't select the dice, it will be randomized again, 1 through 6 to simulate the dice roll. And again, this is just choosing the images that will be placed, like with their roll one, one's image will be placed. This is the animation again. And yes, and now Anna will explain her part of the code.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about how the players can score their points, our score table, and the thing speak. First, we're going to go over when a player pushes a scoring button. For example, the ones button is pushed. This function is just a big if statement asking whether it's player one or two's turn. If it's player one's turn and the ones button is pushed, the code makes an array of all the dice and of the values of the dice after the third roll. This array is then turned into a logical array, which displays the values they chose to score as true and the others as false. This array is then applied to the ending dice, and the values are summed to find the final value that will be scored within the one cell. Also, when any scoring button is pushed, there is a running total of the score the player has by adding all the values, whether or not they have been scored yet. And these values will be displayed within the table, which acts as a scoreboard. The code then asks whether the player chose to play the game remote or on the same computer. If they chose to do remote gameplay, the value they scored within the ones field is then sent to the ThingSpeak channel. Once all of this is done, the app gets ready for player two turning off the dice images and resetting the selected dice array. If it's player's two's turn, the code does the same thing, but this time retrieves its value from ThingSpeak and adds it to the table while also keeping the score that they got. It then turns off the same things as player one's turn from before, and it prepares for player one to take their turn again. After player two has pushed all 7 score options, we run an if statement to determine which player has a higher score and who will win the game. If there's a tie, there will be a roll off, and player one will win if the roll is 1, 2, or 3. Player two will win if the roll is 4, 5, or 6. This code is the same for whenever a player pushes a scoring button, with the exception of chance, where there is no need for a logical array, and it will sum up all the final dice. Lastly, we have 2 buttons that are shown at the beginning of the game asking whether the user would like to play the game on the same computer or a different computer. Whether either button is pushed, the game audio plays and it turns off the 2 buttons and the rules. It turns off the 2 buttons and the rules and turns on all the necessary components to play the game. If the user chooses the remote button, the play type will be set to 1, so all the code will run the ThingSpeak part.
Hi, my name is Luke, and I will be doing the app demonstration. So you see on startup, the Yahtzee title comes up, and our rules comes up. You could read that, and you get the choice of playing it on either the same computer or remotely. Remotely, we'll do ThingSpeak, same computer. It'll just work because both using the same computer. So for this demonstration, I'm going to show you the same computer because it's easier to show on a single computer. So you click that. The sound comes up for the game to start, and this is what our starting screen looks like. Determines whose turn it is. Here's our scoreboard, which is a UI table. All of our buttons, our starting dice position, and these are the buttons to select our dice. So you click roll dice once, and dice will roll. There will be an audio for the dice rolling. And let's say for this example, I want to go for my 3s value. So I could select these 2 3s. This also right here shows that I'm on roll 1. And I could choose to roll the other dice to get more 3s, hopefully. So I could roll the dice again, shows that I'm roll 2. I didn't get any 3s, so I'm gonna want to roll it again without selecting any dice. And here I didn't get any more 3s, but that's fine. So now I'm gonna select the 3s scoring button to score my 3s value. And you can see right here, the score appears in there and also the total score. So now it's player 2's turn. As you can see from right here, I just rolled my first roll. I'm gonna go for my 6s. I got 2 more 6s. Okay, so now I can score my 6s, and that scores in the 6s slot and the total slot. And then let's go again. I didn't really get anything good that turn, so I'm gonna roll again. I'm gonna go for my 4s. I'll roll again. Oh, getting nice. I got a couple more 4s. Some 4s, total updates, and that works. And so at the very end of the game, when all the scores are in, whoever total score has the highest score, there's a label down here that will light up that'll determine who wins and a sound that will play at the end. Thank you.